The science and technology for agriculture production, agriculture development, agriculture product utilization, and the science and technology that is involved in management of the natural resource system. The things that we need to be worried about, not only about not being able to feed people today, but the potential that degradation is going to contribute to our inability to feed the future generation.
You know, I think so many in the humanitarian community that in the early part of their existence delivered massive tons and tons of food aid are now the most vocal critics of that system. There's been a whole group that has come together from Bread for the World, your organization, mine, CARE, Save the Children, Catholic Relief Services, and so forth, in an effort to reform the system. Because one of the things that we've learned is that, you know, food aid is often started in too massive of a way, and as a result, it's too hard to turn off at the appropriate time. You really need to tailor and target food aid to the situation. And what I was talking with Josette about was in Haiti, my worry was that with all of the resources that were being mobilized, the political pressure on the World Food Program and others to deliver massive amounts of food is just incredible. And once that starts, it's amazingly hard to turn off because of those very same political pressures. There's funding pressures on the global institutions like the World Food Program, and there's a lot of political pressures locally. And so I was saying, please resist the temptation to go so big in terms of food aid, because so important for Haiti's recovery is the development of the agriculture sector.
I want to commend the World Food Program for moving towards a policy of sourcing as much of their food locally as possible. Right. But one of the things that assumes is that there will be the capacity to produce dependable surpluses locally. And in many of these areas, there is not that capacity, and that's for good reason. Some of the farmers are living in marginal environments, areas that were basically left behind by the successes of the Green Revolution over the last decades, and a whole new generation of work will have to be developed in order for these people to improve the productivity of their land.
The second area of promise that I see, you know, just in terms of technology that I think is really revolutionary in so many parts of the world is frankly the coming of age of the cell phone. Yeah. And the access to information that represents, and the empowerment of the individual farmer or sets of farmers and cooperatives or in informal community groups is amazing. And again, I think it's another area for investment where we're just seeing, both the applications for information, to prices, to inputs, to seeds, to technologies, access to markets, and then of course the credits and the financing, that is now available in places that if we had to wait for banks and other hard institutions to appear, we'd be waiting a long time. And the cell phone is reducing those barriers dramatically, and you see it in each month. You're seeing continual improvement in that arena, and it offers a lot of promise.
It's not a question of the donors looking at that. It's a question of all of us looking at this.
That's right.
If there are so many hungry people in the world, then how do we reach them? Now, there would be obviously various ways of looking at them, but I would at least like to focus, because there are many other stakeholders who would draw our attention to many other ways. And I would then like to draw this attention of the importance of this community work and importance of the enhancement of the abilities of the food insecure people. Now that can be addressed by good quality mobilization work and good quality facilitation, so that the linkage between the community and the market takes place. The linkage between the government programs and the community takes place. Now that requires more and more people to work at the grassroots, and I believe that it is, for example, in my own estimate, that in India, if there are 165 million population which are poorest of the poor, and then if we see that one of my colleague, professional, in his 20 years of lifespan can work with 6,000 families, then it requires to remove poverty from India, it would require 6,000 professionals. Yeah.